Hey guys, welcome to Tuesday at Two Lines. Welcome. Hopefully everybody's having a great evening on this Tuesday as we quickly approach the holiday season. So I know that things are getting busy for everyone. And so hopefully everybody's doing well. It looks like the chat has been going. We got Eric Tucker, we got 3Bean, we got John Tucci, we've got DeFingers, we've got Daryl Rogers, the usual suspects here already. That's correct, Daryl. Yep, you kind of nailed it. Wow, that is gigantic on the screen. Nope. Let's see. Is everybody that big? Wow. That's a little more manageable. What else do we have? Who else is in here? Shotgun Dave, welcome. So it's been a busy week already. Patriot is in the house. Guys, I hope everybody's doing well. Mr. Albright, welcome, John. All right, what is going on with this thing? I do not know what's happening. Well, so anyway, it's slot car time. It was good to be back on Raul's stream last night to catch up. We tackled the controversial subject of magnets and no magnets. We will not be discussing that tonight. I think we beat that horse to death last night. But it wasn't that controversial. I think that a lot of people that hang out on that stream and on my live chat, on my live stream, know where I stand. We run both. Hey, Dave, welcome. Okay. Now I have no idea what's going on. Curvy Road is in the house. Everything is there. Maybe that's better. A martini and Marty seems to become nice. Well, hope you enjoy your drink. 2 olives, 2 onions. I like a little salad with my martinis. Patriot, who else? George, hey, welcome. Hey, Dave. Good to have you. Thanks for joining in. Hey, Slot Car Daddy. Hey, Robert, Jeff G. Robert, Jeff G. Steve, Roast Coffee. Yes, sir, Steve. Had a cup of coffee earlier. Vin is in the house. Hey, Pat. You'll be listening. Be safe, brother, as you drive. Yeah. So I really wasn't sure what we would get into tonight. There's so many new car releases that are happening. I don't know how anybody's keeping up without just dropping a fortune. So I think one of my videos that I'm working on is my one of the first videos I did when I started the channel was 5 slot cars that I would love to have, right? Because I didn't have very many. I only had a handful of cars. Most of them, or almost all of them at that point, were Carrera cars. And I had a list of cars that I would like to, like brands I wanted to try. And so now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a video of my top 5 cars that I would like, that are my Christmas list. And I'm going to send that to my wife and my kids. So if they want to get dad something for Christmas, I'm going to make it easy. Here are 5 cars that I wouldn't mind owning. Les Valente's great. Hey, Moondoggy. welcome. Hey, Flavor Art. Good evening, Frankie. Hey, Frankie. Sucker Daddy. Let's see here. Sean, I saw Sean. Welcome, Sean. But yeah, I think that there's so many cars. You've got all these new Revo slots that are coming out. Slot it releases the Momo. I don't need another Group C car. I have three Group C cars, Slottits. But how can I not get that Momo? That thing is fantastic. Looks great. So we could talk about cars that we would really like to get. We touched on that a little bit last night. I've been stocking up on parts. I don't know if you guys, every time you have an order with Slot Car Corner or LEB or Professor Motor or wherever you order your supplies from, I throw little things that I know that I need to like stock up on. So this last time I stocked up on like braid and axle spacers in different sizes. Picked up some motor screws. So every time I order, I usually throw a couple of those types of things to build my inventory. I was talking to Daryl earlier today, and he was talking about most of the stuff that he buys from Slot Car Corner end up going on other people's cars because he's always tuning other people's cars. And I just, that's great. But it's funny because I feel like that's what happens with Dusty and I. We were like sharing parts, and he's like, "Oh, I've got that," and here's some weight, and we're passing stuff back and forth and tuning John Mark's cars, and somebody's over here, and we're trying to make their car go better. I'm sure that most of you are the same way. Your spare parts just become available to whoever needs them, right? So looking around my desk, some of you saw my video there last weekend. Shotgun Dave had sent a couple of, hey, Anthony, good evening. Good to have you. Dusty, hey, Dusty. So I thought I'd throw a paint job on the bug body that Dave sent. Area 51, you spy a racetrack Scenics track light. That it is a magnetic racing track light. We'll get to that in a minute. John Tucci, the question is, what truer am I using? We have the CG slots truer. And it's filthy at the moment because we've been truing. I was truing urethane tires. But that's our truer. Dusty picked that up, and it camps out here at the track for anybody and everybody to use. But a really good truer. You don't have a lot of options. We have number 90. Everybody checks the number of their CG slot truer, but it's a nice piece. They did a really good job, and it does a pretty good job of truing tires. I don't have any experience with any other truers, so. But that was the answer to that question. Eric Tucker asks about shirts. We can talk about shirts. Brett. Hey, Brett. Brett Wilson, welcome, man. Glad to have you. Thanks for joining. Thanks for jumping in on the chat. Hey, Clint Talbot. Good to have you. Brett, Tuesdays, you're always welcome on Tuesdays. Sometimes we don't accomplish anything, so I'll just go ahead and put the apology out there now. But the chat kind of drives where the live stream goes, and that's what I love about it. So wherever the conversation goes in the chat, I usually try to follow along. I'm usually way behind, as I already am, in the chat. So I'm always, it's just like an hour and a half of me trying to keep up with the chat. So hopefully it's not too boring for you. Hopefully you get something good out of it. I was talking about, I put a coat of paint. I own a red 1971 convertible bug. So I thought the first scratch build bug that I do, beetle, I would paint the same color as mine. And the paint job actually turned out really well. I haven't clear coated it yet, but really pleased with how the paint turned out. The paint turned out a little better on the bug than it did on the Jake Dyke Special. But I have been doing some things to that body, getting it prepped. I will probably repaint it. You're getting socks, Marty. You're probably right, George. But I put the bumpers on and the gas tank and things on the body just because I wanted to go for some realism on the scratch build. Now I'm getting ready to work on the interior. And so the interior will be a project probably for this weekend. So I'm trying to get this done because I want to get it out to George so he can run some laps around his track with it. So that's kind of one of the things I've been working on. What else do we have? Any other questions so far? Marty's getting a tie. Yeah, Dusty, I used to get lots of ties. I don't wear them at work so much anymore, but a tie was a normal Christmas present for me. Mom always liked getting me ties. She loved buying me ties. Caveman is in the house. Welcome, Caveman. Good to have you. So it's a Slotmas list. We renamed it Slotmas on Pete's stream last Sunday. All right. I will prepare my Slotmas list. There will be a Revo slot on that, I'm sure. So that's we'll see where that goes. Let's see. Steve got you a big buck. Congratulations. There's lots of guys that are out hunting this week. Hey, Michael Squire, super impressed with your build of the midget. Man, that thing looks fantastic, and I love the Elvis theme. But I was looking at the pictures of it today that you posted, and man, that maybe it was George that posted them. That car looks fantastic. Good job. I think it was on Shotgun Dave's page. Well done. Great build. And then Tad, I don't know if Tad's on here tonight. Tad posted his modified chassis that he's building out of brass. Man, that thing looks fantastic. Super impressed with that. You guys are good. I realize where I'm at in my my learning of building a scratch build chassis. So, yes, George, you have lots of parts too, and I'm sure that when Frank's there building a car, you probably throw lots of parts at him, and I'm sure he appreciates that. So, that's what happens here at our track too. Park your staff wheels on the Momo 962. You can thank me later. Yes, they're laying right here, John. Oh, those would look good on the Momo. They would actually look good on. I was thinking about putting them on the Fat Turbo too, but the Fat Turbo already has black wheels. Let's see, what else do we have going on in the chat? Oh, what else to talk about? Since we'll jump into it since George already called me out. Let's see here. And it needs flames, Dave. Hey, Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy, that's the CG Tour is a nice tour. Hey, Steve, how's it going, man? Hope you're doing well. It's been a while since I saw you. Steve, did anything show up in the mail this week for you? You should have gotten something in the mail. Maybe some coffee, because you were my winner from a couple weeks ago. Let's see. I must have missed the question. Let's see here. Steve, we always accomplish a great Tuesday evening. I guess just hanging out is good, right? We'll take it. So, yeah, George, hey, Gale Force, welcome. The mayor. Daryl Rogers, question, Steven, did you order that car today? Steve, did you order the car? Were you ordering a Revo slot? A Group 2, maybe? Let's go. Yeah, if you come over to my house to the track, you need a Revo slot Group 2. We love to race those things here. Yeah, the new Revos are awesome, Steve. Really, really cool. They're just releasing a lot of great stuff. Oh, sure, make George the crash test dummy. Let's see. Show me slots. Hey, slot heads. Back home for a day, then back on the road for work. Hey, Show Me. Thanks for being here, man. We appreciate it. Yeah, it was Greg. It was good to be back on Raul's. Since his live stream's winding down a little bit. Hey, Andrew Jackson, welcome from Hong Kong. Wow, dude, what time is it in Hong Kong? I don't know how many hours ahead. Is that like 10 or 12 hours? More? Maybe more like good morning, right? Greg got the black Camaro from BRM. That's sharp if it's that flat black one. No, but the BM 2002 was in my cart. Is that the red and white livery, Steve? Steve Sweeney. Which group GPT or prototype slot car comes in a black livery with the red and white coral snake type stripes on the roof behind driver's compartment? I have no idea, Steve. No clue. Dusty did a little shout out for Roast Coffee. Thanks, Dusty. Roast is my kind sponsor, and we'll be sending somebody coffee this week, as always. So if you've received coffee in the last couple of weeks, let me know. Just make sure that it made it to you. Hey, Justin, welcome. Ordered a Momo today, awaiting the MR Slot Porsche EVO to release. Yeah, that Eric, that should be a nice car. I have two MR Slot cars, and I have one MR Slot car project McLaren that I need to order the parts to finish. Steve, I got the Opal, the green one with the wing. Nice. There'll be lots of people that pick that one up. Dusty's going to grab that one too. I'm waiting for the Datsuns. I really that'll be fun. Yeah, as I say, Dusty's been eyeing that car since they released the first pictures of it. Hey, Chris, welcome home from work. Welcome to the live stream. So yeah, let's jump in. George already called me out. What you see in the background, a couple weeks ago, Doug and Ian, I think it was Doug that was on the live stream, made a comment. Maybe it was on one of my videos about wanting to send me something, and they ended up sending me the light towers. They sent 2 of them, and I was expecting, they showed up yesterday, and I got all excited. I had to build one. So that's what I worked on last night. It took me about 2 hours, I think, to build this. It's quite a project. We'll get down there in a minute and take a close look at it. It's a very detailed project. They did an awesome job. I just really, really impressed with, Patriot, the Datsuns look really nice. Steve's got the safety green Opal coming. That's cool. So I put this thing together. I'll put a video out on it. But Ian sent it to me. It showed up at my house yesterday. Man, those guys are fantastic. If you've not ordered any, I mean, we're blessed that we have some companies that are really trying to take care of slot car guys and scenery, right, with Magnetic Racing guys, and then Kevin from Racetrack Scenics, putting out some great products. So we have so many options right now. But it was really cool to see what the Magnetic Racing guys are doing. But they've been jumping on the chat every once in a while when they're on. It's late there, I know, but they've been participating in my channel for the last month or so, and commenting on some of my videos, and I've been commenting on some of theirs, and they've offered to send a couple things for me to try out, and they just. I didn't want to put any pressure on them. I was like, man, that's awesome. If you guys want to send it to me, I would love to build something. Definitely highlight it on my channel. But man, they picked the perfect thing for me. They probably listened when I talked about I don't do a ton of scenery, mostly because we race on the track. And so what they sent me is like the perfect scenery because it's very practical. It's lighting. But not only did they send me the light tower, they sent me the 8 light tower. Check that thing out. I mean, that thing is incredible. I've got it plugged in and wired up, so I guess I could bring it closer to I could fire up the camera, right, on the phone. But super impressed with how easy it was to build. They got a QR code that you go to on the website and go straight to the instructions. The instructions are fantastic. Just really impressed with the build quality. Everything just went together so easy and smooth. I did make a couple of mistakes. That's why they always say you should dry fit everything together before you go back and you glue it. And so I was kind of doing that as I went along, and realized that I got one piece backward, and it caused some other issues. I had to change some things with the ladder on the inside, so not a big deal. I made it work, no problems. But yeah, it was just what a great kit. So I don't know how many of you have built anything from Magnetic Racing, but their build quality is fantastic. They've got great eye for design, and I was really excited to see something come in. And they dropped something else in the package. This is their phone holder, which I thought was really a great idea. It says, "Thanks for the order. This is free." Really cool stuff. So it's awesome what Doug and Ian are doing, and I really enjoy their channel. So guys, if you have not followed Magnetic Racing, go out there, follow their YouTube channel, go check out some of their stuff, and especially for you guys in Europe and UK, but their shipping was fast and quick to the States. So yeah, check that out. But yeah, let's get a good close look. My phone is about dead, so we'll see if I can pull this off. Cam Hub. Fire that up. Cam Hub. So I'll switch over to that. Connecting. There we are. So now if I'm over here, I should be able to go to the phone. There we go. And I should be able to continue on the mic. So give you guys a close-up of the Magnetic Racing 8-light kit. Look at the detail on this thing. It is very, very cool. I have one light that I need to look at the wiring on that. But looks great right next to the Racetrack Scenic stuff that I have. But I mean, look at the detail. Motorsports are dangerous. MagneticRacing.com. I love that it's got the light, the beacon on the top. Very, very cool. It's a 12-volt system. So for some night racing, it'll look pretty good in here. What do you guys think? I killed some of the lights. You could really see how well it lights up the track. Let me see if I can. How's that looking? Good race song. But it does a nice job of lighting up the track. That's with all my lights off. It'd be fun to throw a car on here that has some lights. So you can see what it would look like in night racing. I don't know, it looks pretty cool down there. So I think that's pretty cool. So we'll get back to this, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Silent movie? No, the mic was not working. Phone zapped the audio, I think. I wonder what happened. These mics usually work just fine. Sorry about that, guys. But that's the magnetic racing 8 light tower. Fantastic. They did a great job. So go out there and give their channel a like. No audio either, huh? Okay. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Nope, you're right. Test 1, 2, 3. I would say that it's shut off. Oh, well. Oh, I know what happened. Now, check 1, 2, 3. Now we would have had audio. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Right? Now we have audio. Yeah, that was the problem. So those lights with 8 lights on it really light up the track. So for a night race, two of those towers really light things up. Sorry about that, guys. That was my fault on the microphone. I had phantom power on, which those microphones don't take phantom power. Never crazy. Fogs glass like soup. You guys must be talking about glue. Yeah, sorry, guys. That was my fault. I did something. Hey, Gina. Welcome. got some lights. That's right, grandson of man. It's really cool from Magnetic Racing. Really cool kit. Yeah, I had the Phantom Power on that channel, and those mics are not Phantom Power, so that's why it wasn't working. Yeah, Tim, it was because of you were hearing me through this microphone. Hi, I'm Marty, and I'm mailing all my cars to Gale Force Raceway. Sounds good to me. Sorry about that, guys. So I was just talking about how if you killed all the lights, that one light lights up that whole end of the track. It's a pretty impressive light. So let's see here. Just got my first Revo slot. Are all the grub screws 1.5 millimeter? It's a good question. Hey, the Care ran quiet anyway. Nice. The Hexcel is quiet. Yeah, it's a smooth car. Brought us all together tonight for another great chat. I was always talking about Marty's lights. Just came in. I use Tester's cockpit cement on glass. I have this canopy glue. And it seems to do a nice job not bothering plastic. And so that I picked that up at Hobby Lobby. It just takes a long time to dry. It's not a fast drying glue at all. But cars. Question, Kirby. I missed what and how you have the tower powered. So right now I've got the tower. It's a 12-volt tower, and I've got it running off of just a 12-volt power supply. So I just grabbed the power supply from the Truer and clipped onto the wire just to turn it on for the live stream. So, yeah. But what I'm looking for is like just a standard 12 volts wall wart type of power supply, and that should run that just fine. Justin, the 1.5 plus about 20 degrees of lean so they don't chew up. They're not the most accurate 1.5 millimeter. Yeah, if you're not careful, you'll strip those out pretty quick. Garage, Jeremy, it is 12 volts. I'm sure you could run it off of batteries, but finding a good 12 volt wall wart's pretty easy, I think. And just run them there. And I can run both towers off the same power supply because they're just LEDs. They're not pulling very much. But really, it's a cool piece. I think it fits perfect right there in the corner. Lights that whole curve up. And then the other one I will put kind of in the same position down on the other end. So that if we do run like an endurance race and do a night section, we'll run the tower lights, so it won't be completely black, darked out. But the middle of the track will be dark, but the big turns will be lit up. So, yeah, Tad, thanks. They are really, really cool. Lighting is much more efficient in terms of 7-volt AC. Tad, I was just, I don't know if you were on here earlier, but I was bragging about your chassis build. I was looking at the pictures of that online today. Well done on that modified, I believe. It's the chassis you're working on. Great work on the chassis. It looks fantastic. Don't over-tighten them. The hex will round out. Yep. Got to be really careful. I have a 10 or 11 train power supply under the slot car table. I could light up the night. There you go. Yeah, those transformers would be perfect, I think, because you could dim those a little bit. Wouldn't have a problem with that. Yeah, remember your crew has to see their tools. Yeah, when I ran the endurance race at Butch's, it was completely blacked out. There was no light, even turned the computer screen off. So there was just no, it was only the lights from the cars. And that I was a real struggle. We've talked about that. That was a real struggle for me visually. I don't see well at night anyway. So I was awful. So I think if I did it here, I would have a little bit of lighting. I mean, using these like the scenic lights, I think would be create a nice ambiance and still make it a lot of fun. Let's see here. Lots of brass and solder. Yeah, I would say, but really impressive. Well done. Thanks for the coffee. Everyone in the family loves it. We got the home flavor. It was so good. We did not use creamer with it. Yeah, the home is really it's a nice blend. I'm so stuck on the Brazil, that single origin. I can't break away from it, but good stuff. Yeah, Josh, Butch's race night was the darkest I'd ever run at night. The Michigan 24-hour was brighter than Butch's race. Yeah. Yeah, I watched a lot of the Michigan 24 this past year because I knew you guys were racing in it, and I felt like it was dark in the room, but like you could still sort of see the track. Butch was tough on everybody. He made it interesting for sure. Let's see. I have pics of the night portion from the 24. Yeah, that's cool, Josh. Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool to see. I did watch a lot of that live stream. That was fun. Speaking of endurance race, in December, Josh is making the mistake of asking me to be on his team for a 6-hour endurance at Butch's Wood Track. And then I think Dusty's going to jump in, and we'll see how that goes. But that should be a fun time. That should be a fun time. Hey, Thomas. How are you, Tom? Good to have you, man. Tom has been fast the last couple weeks at Cincy Slots. Tom's got the M6A Thunder slot of his running really, really fast. He hit 50 laps there 2 weeks ago, won the race. Well done. This past week, it was competitive. There were 3 guys that had 50 laps, 5 guys with 49, 2 guys with 48. I think 46.5 was like the lowest. I mean, that vintage class is really, really tight. Curvy, I didn't really get a chance to watch. I watched a little bit of it. Dahi had posted some things, and he had a live stream going, and it wouldn't let me in. It said it was a private stream, so I didn't get to watch any of that. So I just got snippets of what people posted on the videos. It would have been cool to see. I did watch a lot of the NSR Nationals a couple weekends ago. I did pick up a lot of that live stream. That was a lot of fun. Looks like Tim watched some of it. Grandson of Man, all the lights around the track here in Vegas make me rethink my track lighting. Grandson of Man, are you going to the race? It would be interesting to watch that race. There's lots of things on Instagram talking about how they're lowering the price of the tickets and things like that because they have not been selling. But that might all be just propaganda. So I have a feeling once race weekend is here in Vegas, it will be packed. Josh, Tom's McLaren is insane. I'd agree. That thing is fast, and it looks like it's so easy to drive. So well done. F1 in Las Vegas will be amazing. Yeah, I drove when I was out there for SEMA. John Mark and I saw a little bit of the work that they were doing and actually got to see the Formula One car on the strip when they made that video, which was wild. And then I was out there again for a conference in June for work, and it was really interesting to see all of the work that they were already doing then to prep for the F1 race. They already had some streets closed off. They were repaving, mostly for repaving, but the plans were within a few weeks they were already starting to start to build some of this stuff, which is crazy. All the work that needs to go into a street race. They used to do a street race in Columbus. I forget what it was called. Maybe it was the Columbus Ford Dealers 150, or I can't remember how many miles it was. I just remember all the work that it used to go in to prep the streets of downtown for that race. And then all the people who'd complain about, the life being disrupted for a couple of weeks. Daryl prepped that car. There you go. Daryl, you made him too fast, Daryl. Oh, Dusty. Watch, James might have to figure out how to chat just to respond to you. That's great. Steve, I'd agree with your statement. It wasn't on at 1 a.m. Eastern time. That's good. That's funny. John Albright, just a side note on the lights, SCX cars light up the track. Yeah, so I was doing some laps with the SCX Porsche that Dave Kennedy sent me, and the light kits in those SCX cars are pretty impressive. They're pretty bright. That car, I pulled the magnets out of it. Where's it at? Here's the car. It's a good looking car. But I pulled the magnet out of it, and that car got so much better. But I have to complain a little bit. That guide setup, I don't know if I can focus on it. There we go. And how the power gets to the motor, that looks cool and all, but this car is constantly losing power from the track. That guide setup is not good. It's not engineered well. But I added some body float to it. I threw a set of 1403 silicones from Super Tire fit on it. Actually fit really well. And it went from a 6.5 second car with magnets. The magnet caused it to just lose connection all the time. So when I pulled the magnet out, it ran so much better around the track. And it's a 5.6, 5.7. It's right there with all the Revo slots. Not a bad car. But my plan with this car is to, I like the light kit, so I'm going to figure out how to keep that in. But I am going to replace the guide because the guide is really short. It just doesn't fit the track very well. And I'm going to put a slot invasion guide on it, and I'm going to put wire to the motor, and then wire the lights direct there, and go from there and see what we can do. But all in all, not a bad car at all. Once I did a little bit of tuning, it came around and got really good real quick. So, but yes, I would agree, John. The light kits in those are really, really good. Well, let's see, what else am I missing? Let's see. Somebody has to drive it. That's right. Tom, you did a great job getting around the track. Yeah, I've been, that have been dropping. I'm waiting if the price is right. Well, I mean, it's in your neighborhood, right? I would hate for you to miss it if it would be cool to catch a race. I mean, going to a Formula One race is awesome. I went to the U.S. Grand Prix years ago, and it was really, really neat event. Formula One is a whole different animal. Cheap tickets, maybe I will go. Parking probably $300. That's crazy, Moondoggy. Crazy. Also, the Vegas GP is currently on track, no pun intended, to be the coldest race on the calendar, which is hard to believe. Be cold in Vegas, but it can get cold at night for sure. So, Curvy, Tom's McLaren is a Thunder slot. It's one of the mango colored, the orange number 5, I believe, number 5, M6As. Yep. Oh, Josh already answered that. Yeah, Grand Cinnamon. Traffic was already a mess because of all the paving when I was out there in June, so I can't imagine. How do you know you add too much weight to a car? Really good question, and I'm going to see if anybody has answered that already. Daryl, it starts slowing down. Yeah, so there's a Gina. There's a kind of a magic number where you can add weight and the car gets better, and then once you get to that point, it gets worse on the other side. So, like rule of thumb, I don't know if there's a great rule of thumb. It really depends on what the car is doing and what you're trying to get get control of with the car. Is the nose too light and it keeps popping out of the slot? You just need to just calm the car down. Is it tail happy? So where you put the weight is important, but then, I mean, depending on the type of car and the brand of car, if you're adding more than, 6 or 8 grams, you're probably getting in that neighborhood of too much weight. Early on when we were tuning cars, Dusty and I both were guilty of putting too much weight in a car, and then Daryl would go, "What are you doing? This is way too much weight," and we'd pull some weight out. So I would say if you start getting to that 8-gram area, you might start adjusting that and maybe taking a few grams out and seeing how the car performs. But yeah, you'll start noticing you drive too hard into a turn and it'll deslot because there's just so much weight and force momentum. You'll really see your lap time start to drop. You won't be picking up any speed because the weight performance that you gain in the curves, you'll lose top end of the car in the long straights. It doesn't come up to speed as fast as it should. You'll lose lap time that way as well. So there are some signs that maybe you've added too much weight. Again, this is a great place to ask. Home Racing World, there's a lot of information about that in the forums, but a lot of times I'm just like, if I know somebody who has a car, like how much weight is your NSR? Did you put in your NSR Mosler? How much weight did you put in your Thunder Slot Elva? And guys will usually share that information. People will help you out there. So I usually throw, my car with the weight in on the scale and see what it weighs in at. And I kind of have a target that I like to keep a car as light as I possibly can. Because that all, the more weight, the slower the response. It's not as responsive in the turns. So I try to keep my cars as light as I possibly can, but there are times when you really have to add some weight, some ballast, just to get the car to perform the way you want it to. So long answer. I'm not sure I really gave you a great answer. Very specific, but yeah, I would say, 3 to 5 grams in most cars. That range, you're pretty safe. Some cars could take 10 grams to get it to perform the way you need it to. But if you get too much weight in it, the performance will start falling off pretty quick, and you'll figure that out. Is it just me, or is modern like running magnets? John, just stirring the pot. Hey, Rob, welcome, man. Good to have you. Guys, thanks for the thumbs up. We got 45 likes out there. There's a bunch of comments already. I mean, we're not even an hour in, and we're at 514 comments. A lot of traffic in the chat. Curvy, you have the SCX Aston Martin. Not a fan of the electric layout. I'm not either, man. John Albright, add a little weight where the magnet was. I will do that. Yeah, I don't think I have not put any weight in this, mainly because there's no place to put weight with the way the electrical is run. So yeah, I think if I can get a slot invasion guide to work in that, I think this car could really, really do well. I want to love this car. The GT3 Cup, it's not a fancy livery. Daryl doesn't like this car because it's white, but I don't mind it. I think it's a great car, and I appreciate Dave sending it to me. But he and I had a conversation that I had not messed around with any SCX, so I think that was to test what I thought about their engineering. I mean, I'm sure that they built that for a reason, right? So it would be easy to snap. Looks like it's got a door for digital, so you can make it digital real quick. Everything works. It just doesn't work great. So I think the car could be a lot better just like direct wired and a good guide up front. So we're going to get it tuned, and I'll probably do a video about that. So let's see, John, which way do you recommend stirring the pot? Sorry, was tuning a Impala car, was not paying attention to the chat. No worries, George. Tune away, brother. Grandson of Man, Motorbog. Yeah, if you get too much weight, that'll happen. Tune to the conditions of your track. That's George's famous line. But yeah, you're right. Only you know like how a car performs on your track, so how much weight you need. When you see smoke, stop. Hey, Dave. Dave, I was just talking about your car. I've got it tuned up fairly well. It's running around the track pretty good, but I'm still not a big fan of the guide. So I think I'm going to play around and change out, put a slot invasion guide in it. But yeah, I'm really digging the car. It's fun, and the light kit in this thing is awesome. John Albright mentioned how bright they were earlier, and they really are nice on the layout. So thanks, man. Thanks for joining. Good to have you. When the handling heads south, the least amount of weight, the better. It's all about balance, right? You just kind of have to test and play and run some laps and make one change, put the car back together, put it on the track, test it. Testing and tuning is a whole process, and like there'll be nights where we don't do any racing. All we're doing is testing and tuning cars. Dusty's wrenching on a car. I'm wrenching on a car. John Mark's running laps, and we're trying to get his cars to run well. Daryl comes over. Josh has been over, and we just did a lot of tuning. And somebody knew the track. My track is different than other tracks, so you like George says, you have to tune for the track. Who sells the cheapest digital conversion chip? They seem to have jumped in price. Caveman, I'm a big fan of the chip that Slot Invasion has, the FT Slot Technic. It's small and it performs well, easy to install. I'm a fan of that, and they're all about the same. You're limited if you try to retrofit a Carrera chip. Sometimes it doesn't work in certain cars. There's just not room for that chip And so that's where that Slock Technic chip really does well. The MPL chip is good too. It's really small. Now that they've soldered the leads on, that makes life much, much easier. So those are all good. Two Lines live time. Hey, Travis, welcome. But yeah, that's probably the best deal. There's the chip for slotted cars for Carrera. That's a nice chip. I think it still runs about $42. So I don't think there's any way of getting around that. 60 frames a second plus decent markings for every inch, a couple feet in the main straight will be a good marker to measure exit top speed. Yeah, Raul, I think, has talked me into possibly ordering a new camera. I'm really interested in the Pocket, the DJI Pocket 3, the Osmo Pocket 3. I think I can get some good track footage with that. The way I shoot, where I race with my right hand and then I'm videoing with my left. I think with a gimbal and in the subject tracking, I think that I can make that really, really good. I probably need to do a little more lighting on my track, but hey, thanks to Magnetic Racing. Hey, Reese, welcome. Good to have you. Frankie, 25K Sidewinder Mosler, 77 grams is golden. Yeah, I like to be in that. If I can stay under 80, that's awesome. I think that's about where my Thunder slots are, 76, 78 grams, I think. Yeah. You had me at Polycar. Yeah, George, what are you tuning on? What Polycar? Let's see, who else? So, Gina, your car is tail happy. So I would ask, where do you have your weight? Is it, I guess, what car are you tuning? What type of chassis? And then we can kind of maybe get you where you need to be. So a lot of that, is traction. So where you have your weight is super important. Dave's tired. Work took it out of you. I understand, Dave. Let's see here. There's somebody selling the slotted chip for $25, and it got cheaper the more you bought. I bought 4. Can't remember where. That's cool. That's a great price too, Caveman. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I'm sure we can probably find that. Yeah, Gina, no problem. We're happy to help. That's what we love to talk about. We love to help people tune cars and understand how to tune and make their cars better. Because when your car performs at its best, it really it makes it drive well, drive easy when it's tuned good, and you get fast laps, and that just makes it fun, right? So we're all about fun. You'll do a video about it, Dave, about weight, or about the SCX? But from the SCX, gotcha. The decoration of the car was from the real car, which was the release decoration of the first 997 race car. Yeah, it's a good looking car. Yeah, it's sharp. And like I said, it keeps getting better. It got better once I took the magnets out, which I think is funny. I dropped a whole second off the lap by getting rid of the magnet, mainly because I think the magnet was causing the braids to not not do well. It hated coming up the hill to my bridge, and so that's where we're at. But a small turn of a pod or body screw will change a lot, right? Yeah. So your tail happy, Gina, might not be all about weight. It could be about how tight or loose you have your body or your motor pod. John Mark, don't wrench on slot cars. Excuse me. Hey, Light Tech, welcome. Justin bought a bunch from Europe. That's cool. Important, buy the SCD 1044, not the 2022 chips. Yeah, the 2022 chips have some issues Dave discovered with Carrera Digital. I've not experienced that in any of the chips that I have, but maybe some of the newer chips were experiencing that. But the 1044 has 0, and if you need to put it in a 124 scale car or a 132nd scale car, you're fine. It'll handle the voltage. Yeah, he has a personal tuner. Yeah, I agree. When you get close, only a fractional turn of the screw is needed. Yeah, I go in like quarter turns when I'm tuning my motor pod, and kind of go from there. Let's see. You have Patriot. You have the gimbal. Nice. They just released the Pocket 3 a couple weeks ago, so I'm thinking about picking that up. I need a camera for work, to do B-roll stuff, and we're just jumping into way more content. Hopefully, creating more content for work, and so that's my hope, is that I can pick that camera up and it becomes dual purpose for me, work and for the channel. Wait till Black Friday for the deals, though. I would check Micro Center potentially too for the DJI camera you're looking at. Oh, that's a good idea. I was looking at Logitech makes an overhead camera now. It's like a webcam, but it's got a big arm for the shots of like when I'm building things. I don't have a great solution for that right now. I'm kind of makeshifting using my phone. And so I was looking at one of those, and it looks like it's going to be like 35% off for Black Friday. So that's one I was looking at. So we'll see. Tom Ross, thanks, Tom. First order roast coffee. You will enjoy it. I hope. I promise. If you like good coffee, you'll enjoy the roast. They do a nice job of roasting beans. They're very particular. I know there's lots of great coffee out there, so I don't try to oversell it, but it is my buddy Trent is super particular about how he roasts coffee, and so you'll enjoy it. Generally, most of my cars are in the upper 70 to low 80 gram range. The exception is the AMG. It was 95 grams because it ran better with that much. Yeah, it's all trial and error, right, Josh? I mean, you guys started at 80 and had to go up to 95 just to get the car to handle the way you wanted it. The Jackie Stewart F1. I like that one, George. That's cool. Tuning the SCX Porsche. Thanks. Okay, I thought that's what you were talking about. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, Daryl, you're right. He has a couple people who wrench on his cars. Weight and tuning. Yeah, and I'll do the same with this car. It's been fun, but I want to do the kind of the rewire and see how much performance I can get out of it. Marty, because Porsche. There you go. Rob, what green is that on your Porsche LMP? It's beautiful. So this is my my 963. I need to put the wheels and tires back on it. I just started this build. I just put the paint on it a couple weeks ago, and I haven't done anything with decals or anything. But Rob, this color is gloss jungle green. It is a Krylon Fusion color. There you go. Gloss jungle green. And from a on the track aspect, I want to paint every car this color because it's so easy to see your car. But the LMP looks good in that color. I'm loving it. And this car is a rocket ship if I could just figure out how to tune it. It's the Scale Auto Porsche. But yes, Rob, there you go. I'm going to get a 3D printer soon for experimentation. Grandson of Man, I have been looking at them as well. Danny Wiley and I have had lots of conversations about 3D printing. Daryl and I were talking about it the other day as well. New topic for content, tire selection and what works. John, you give me a hard time, but you understand we run silicone because that's what Bruce runs at Cincy Slots, and we spend a lot of time racing down there on Thursday nights. I think if we weren't racing there on Thursday nights and there wasn't a requirement that all of the cars run silicone, we probably would experiment with more tires. We'd probably look at either Paul Gage urethanes or NSR rubber, or working on the rubber that came with most of those cars, right? So I think that's not out of the possibility that down the road we will probably start experimenting with tires and tire treatment and things like that. Excuse me. Especially if I end up building a wood track, right? Which, Dave, you need to get your wood track up and running. And then Travis, are you buying the track or not? So that's a question if he's still out there. OSHA Green. It's high vis. Yeah, it is. But it's the gloss jungle green, I think is what I said. Gloss jungle green. Slotted Audi would run in the white lane and blue lane. It kept stopping at different spots on the track. Turn of the screw and flew in both lanes after that half turn. Yeah, Frankie, sometimes that's all it takes, right? To get a car to straighten up. Hey, Danny, welcome. Vin, has anyone tried to true silicone tires? Is it a waste of time? Vin, I have tried, and it is a job. I don't think that the CG tire truer is the right truer to true silicones. I think that the Huddy is probably the right way to go when truing silicone tires. It is a slow process. And there's two schools of thought. Some people say the best a silicone tire is the day you pull it out of the package and put it on the tire and run in that first race. And then it just starts degrading from there. And then there are other people who say it is completely worth the time and energy to true a silicone tire. I have not done any testing to that. I don't take the time to true silicone tires. I probably could get better performance if I did. I just don't take the time to do it because it is a long, drawn-out process. It is very difficult to do. So, been working on a brass prototype for the 2000 GT models I've had, wanting to have it modular for 132nd and 125th. That's cool. Let's see. Then, yeah, it's not, but it's hard to do. John Albright. Zambia was the flavor of the choice this morning. Pour over. Nice. Greg, there we go. Silicone tires have come a long way since 2008, since I got started. But Greg is one that says that the performance is worth the time and energy to true a silicone tire. Let's see. Danny's got me on the big screen. Hey, I'm on the big screen. Curvy, your time is more valuable. Yeah. Oh, nice. Danny's going to wire up the CNC. That's cool. Let's see. OBTV, highly recommend AnyCube Viper 3D printer. Have printed miles of filament since March with no complaints. That's cool. Thanks, OBTV. That's actually one of the AnyCube is one of them I was looking at. Danny made some recommendations on a handful of printers as well. Ones to stay away from and ones to look at. So I think with slot cars and where they're going, it would be fun to be able to print the driver for this scratch build car, right? 3D print a chassis from one of my fly cars. So I could see that's where I would use a 3D printer. Hey, Monty. Hola. Glad to have you. I find silicone tires work the best on my wood track by far. That's interesting. Vin, did you paint with latex paint on yours? I could see Butch uses silicone tires on his wood track, and they hook up really well on that surface. But then we know people with wood track that love like rubber tires and urethane tires. I know George is running urethanes on his wood oval. But I know that Harry runs urethanes on his wood oval, but runs silicone most of the time on his road course. So I didn't mean to be in a debate, more towards helping with traction. No, I get it. I think that tires are one of those things, John, that still a lot of people in the hobby don't truly understand. They just kind of follow what other people do without really understanding what makes the tire, what gives the tire grip, what truing actually does. I think it would be a great discussion. So maybe you could jump on a live stream with me, John, one day, and we could have that discussion. You could learn us all. Let's see. Joe Wilson, why is there no size chart for front tires? I have several Carrera cars where the original front tires are garbage. Joe, unfortunately, finding tires for Carrera are tough sometimes. What I would recommend is going to Harbor Freight and getting a cheap set of calipers and measuring your tires, and then going to like the Paul Gauge or the Quick Slicks or the Super Tires website and going to their sizing chart and finding tires that will fit based on the size of the rim, the size of the wheel. That might be your best bet. The last 24-hour I did at Cloverleaf, my team was given a set of Trude silicone tires, and the car was much faster after we used the Trude glued tires. They are better when Trude. Yeah, I mean, I understand why they would be better Trude. I would say that they come pretty close to that out of the package. But I would imagine that, just that little bit of truing would really help with the traction, and I could understand the importance of that. It's just, wow, it's such a time investment. But for a race like the 24-hour, Dave, you're prepping cars for months. I mean, the guys I know that are running in that race are already prepping cars for next year's race. So it makes perfect sense. So then you would have the time. You're not trying to prep a car for Thursday night. You're prepping a car for months down the road. So I could see where that would be worth the time prepping, lots of tires for a race like that. Josh, for a 3D printer that just works, I'd get a Bamboo Labs P1S. For the money, you can't beat the print quality from what I've seen. If you want to mod and tinker with a printer, get the Ender 3 S1. If you have a diamond drum, Marty, they true slowly on my Huddy when I ran silicone. Yeah, I would think you would have to probably look at some kind of diamond type of, I don't know. I'm sure there are people out there that would share that information. Carrera tires are mostly different from each other. There's no standard size. Yeah, that's what I've discovered too. If my silicone tires look flat across when mounted, I go with it. If not, then I try a different tire. Pat? Yeah. And the size charts that they have out there, quick slicks and super tires, usually get you really close. I'm surprised at the number of cars that I've been able to use 1403s, super tire 1403s on. It seems like most every car that I buy will run that set, that 1402, 1403, 1404s, 1407s. It's kind of crazy. You can true up to 10 sets, do all the same glue, true, and polish steps. You'll still have 2 or 3 that just don't hook up for whatever reason. I could see that, Greg. Yeah, the tool from Slot Car Corner, Greg, that you sent me the link to, I watched the video on that. That is definitely a must for gluing up tires for sure. Curvy, I have the Anycube Cobra 3D. Nice. Pat, oh, you already talked about that one. I know I've noticed specifically on wood mainly, haven't run them on plastic as much, that trued silicones are hands down the way to go in comparison to slip-on. They are hands down better on Scalextric plastic too. Yeah, I could see where it wouldn't matter what your track surface is, that they're going to be better. The silicone are better than the NSR rubber for me, at least. Then that's interesting. I know Dave is a fan of the NSR rubber. I think John Albright has similar experience with NSR rubber. I know that that's what they were running in the USA Nationals at the Slotted Nationals. All the slotted cars a lot of them were running last year, were running NSR rubber. Now this year, I think slotted had some compounds that a lot of the top guys were running. So it was good to see slotted tires on slotted cars at the race. But yeah. Yep, the fingers agrees, Greg. Gale Force, anyone truing HO tires? Never thought it was a thing, but we also swap tires pretty easy with a multitude of sizes. Gale Force, I have very little experience with HO. I apologize, but I would say it's the same thing. That a trued tire on an HO car, it's all about contact patch, right? And that's truing that tire gives you as much contact patch as possible. So I would have to say that it would help. In the words of Butch and Rob, tires are 50% or more of setting up a car. I believe it. That's, I would say that as well. For us, excuse me, for us, since we run at Cincy Slots and basically silicone tires are our only choice, it kind of takes that work out of it for most everybody, right? Most of those guys are just slipping tires on that they picked up at the shop that night. They're not truing those tires for Thursday night races. But maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe that's what Tom and Daryl did to the M6A. Yes, I'm a fan of the zero grips on the fronts. The zero grip silicone tires actually true really easy in comparison. It doesn't take a ton of work to get them trued. So I have trued those. I like the Quick Slicks zero grip front tires. They just don't make them for very many cars. Yeah. Curvy, I mentioned it last night. Urethane or Shore 40, which do the pros recommend? Curvy, that's a good question. I don't run urethanes, so I'm trying to remember Shore 20 versus Shore 40. Um, is the 20 softer than the 40? I feel like no, the 40 is softer than the 20. So I would say that you probably get a little more grip with the PGT Shore 40s, but with the Shore 20, you get a much longer lasting tire because rubber and urethane, they do wear. So. Andrew, just trued and glued Carrera 124 wheels, urethane tires, Cincy slot method from YouTube. No improvement over just using urethane tires straight out of the bag. That's interesting. Andrew, what truer did you use? Oh, did you use the sandpaper on the track? So you basically sanded them. I find that when using silicones, if they are nice and tight around the wheel, they usually work very well. It's when they are loose that causes problems. Yeah, Eric, they'll tend to roll a little bit in a turn, and then you'll lose traction. So, yeah. Yeah, Vin, sometimes you just get too much traction. That was one of the things that Ian Douglas was talking about at the USA Nationals, that they were getting so much traction that they really they were scuffing their tires a little bit, the rears, to make them slip just a bit because he was more comfortable with the car having a little bit less traction, which is funny to think. But hey, Dahi, welcome, man. Good to have you. Thanks for joining tonight. Here's the tire and wheel tire sheet. Buy a caliper and fill this out. Send it to Slot Car Corner. They will help you get the fronts. Look at that, George. Excuse me. You're the man. George is always with the info. Am I far behind on the chat? That's why the NSR air gap wheels are not my favorite. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard a few people complain about those. There's a lot of guys that change to the Thunder slot wheels if the class and the rules allow. They really like those and how they work, especially for silicones. Slow. Turn in, on, and check in the morning. Seems they want to sell 3-day ticket packages. I was hoping to go on Saturday. Dusty, that would make sense if they are urethane because they true really easy. As compared to the rear silicones. Lower the number, softer the tire. Thanks, George, for the correction. If the fronts are rarely touching, how important is it? How important is what, Greg? The size of the tire? So if you're setting up the car, they're barely touching. You want them to act like outriggers, not really. So less traction is better on those fronts. And so that's why I use furniture polish and polish mine. I've used nail polish. I've used super glue. Sometimes the problem with those is they'll make the tire hard, and then I like a really quiet car. And so my goal is always to have a pretty fast and quiet car. And so I'll use the furniture polish because the tire, it doesn't harden the tires. So they're probably not as zero grip as I would want them to be. But I seem to do okay. I thought about making my own tires per the video made by Shotgun Dave. Yeah, you could make your own urethanes. Yeah, that's right, Steve. That drives me crazy. I've only found one car that prefers the NSR air rides, and that's my Thunderslot Elva. I was going to say, I know Josh, he uses the air rides on his Elva. Everybody loves those rear thunder slot wheels. So it's funny that your Elva likes the air rides. Stock NSR tires are very competitive. Yeah, I think they're pretty soft compound. It's all about marketing. Let's see. Many takeoff tires can transition to excellent fronts. I've actually done that. You're right. I've pulled tires off of the rear of some cars, and they make their way to front tires, especially if I'm truing them down pretty low. If it's a car that I can't adjust the front height without adjusting it using the tires. Anthony, I use whatever I found under the kitchen sink, which happened to be Quick Shine Floor Luster for hardwood floors. But it seems to be, it's basically a liquid carnauba type of wax. So Mop and Glow, any of those will work just fine. Yep, George, those are slip-ons. Greg, you want to put a heavy radius on the front tires when truing. Why? Because it will allow them to slide over seams on wood and plastic tracks. Does not allow the tire to trip or catch on them. The heavy radius. I've noticed that on a lot of the cars at Butch's. Is a pretty heavy radius on the front. Jeff G, because the leading front tire will turn faster on a turn. Okay, so that's I'm going to throw this question out since Jeff brought it up. Is it worth the time and energy and effort converting a car to independent fronts, either using the slotted front axle or there's a couple other options on plastic track? I believe that it's totally worth it on wood track. I've watched it. I've seen it. I've raced a car that is set up that way. It drives a lot easier. So is it worth it for plastic track though? So that's my question. Since Jeff G brought that up. Yeah, Anthony, no worries, man. Happy to help. Again, like whatever you can find in your, I wouldn't go out and buy a whole bottle just to polish your tires. That whole bottle will last for 1,000 years polishing fronts. Yeah, I don't use silicone, so that would be better for the silicone tires. Raceway tires that skim the surface down the straight without scrubbing off much speed become outriggers for handling through the corners. There you go. As long as it has quick in the name. That's funny. Quick Shine, baby. That's racing products right there. That's all marketing. So what's the object of truing the front? Greg, a lot of times truing the front is about getting the nose of the car down a little bit if it's a car that doesn't have adjustable front axles. So truing the tires will, help you adjust that front end and get it where you want it to be. A lot of times it's not so much truing the fronts. I've seen a lot of front tires have just a slight bevel to them. So then just the outsides of the fronts are touching when the car pitches to the left and the right. Grandson of Man, you think it helps? Yeah, I do too. No need for independent fronts on plastic track. See, John, I kind of agree. I don't know. I just don't know if the plastic track has enough grip to really have an impact. But other people might have an opinion, but that's kind of my opinion. John and I have actually talked about this, not a bunch, but I had a lot of questions after coming back from the wood track, and that was one of them. If it was worth trying that for a plastic track. I mean, I've got some cars. I have a couple fly cars that have independent fronts, and obviously, the performance of those I really don't recognize it making a big difference. But I could see. Jeff, in your opinion, yes, and this is what I figured out in the horse and buggy days. Okay. So even on plastic track, you think that it makes a difference? That's fair. I should probably test. That would make good content, right? Take a car, run 100 laps, and then run another 100 laps with independent fronts, and see how it works. See if it does make a difference on plastic. Got to start wearing those socks for old people with the grips. That quick shine sure made my floors fast to fall on. That's right. Light tech slots. That's my new excuse for slow runs. My front tires are not trued. You got to have an excuse, right? My excuse is always I came out of the slot too much. The truer runs by itself. Set it and check it whenever. Yeah, that's one thing I don't have. The reciprocator. I will need to get the reciprocator for the CG slots truer. I still find that it's hard to true 2 tires at once on that truer. I've been truing one at a time and then measuring to make sure that they're okay. Greg, on my 24-hour cars, there is a slight difference, not noticeable to the average slot racer. On plastic track, on your Scalextric track. By the way, I enjoyed watching the LMP live stream on Saturday, the proxy. So good job. It looked like you guys were having some fun. Area 51, I will do risky business moves with slick wood floors shine. That's right. Dun, 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 dun. Amy tried making their own tires. Caveman, I have not gone down that path of making resin bodies or parts out of silicone. I still have to get TrackMate. I still have a bunch of other things I need to buy before I start buying things to make things like that. That's why I need to just get the 3D printer out of my head and push that off, because I need to get the TrackMate hardware so I can do some more. I've been testing fast laps for Patrick on the digital side, and guys, that software is going to be great when he gets it done. Really managing a race is super simple and easy, and so I've been doing some digital testing, but I want to test on the analog side as well, and so I'm getting ready to order the TrackMate hardware so that I can do that. Oh wow, it's 9:30. What else have we need to talk about? It was a test for me. I want to stream the 6-hour at Butch's track in December. Greg, that's cool. I will be there. I have a little bit of experience with streaming. If there's anything I can do to help you with that, let me know. Even if it's like another camera. I use Ecamm Live. I don't know what you were using to stream with, OBS or using StreamYard or something like that, but I have a license for Ecamm Live, which does the superimposing and multiple angles and makes that really easy. So if you want to talk offline about that, I'd be happy to help you for the 6-hour race at Butch's, since I'm going to be there. So let's talk. I'm happy to help. Lost the chat. Uh-oh. Greg, then the whole world can make fun of me. That's funny. They sell different shore urethane mixes. Thought about using them to try. Be easier than trying to do silicones. Much of the noise that comes from plastic chassis cars is related to the front axle and the guides. I believe that. And if you put super glue on your front tires, it comes from your front tires too. Well-trued fronts and a soft guide spacer can do a lot to quiet a chassis. It's one of the first things that I do on just about any car. So I'll start to wrap up. Guys, this has been fun. I'm not sure that we've gotten anything done. Yeah, Greg, you want me to do a wedding song? But one last thing, I've posted a couple things and mentioned it about my buddy Chad and Jared, who own Mill City Apparel in Chillicothe. They surprised me with a T-shirt design, and I thought it might be cool to do a short run of T-shirts. And so they're supposed to give me pricing today, so I can finalize the pricing for the shirt. What I figure is I'll just do a base price of like $25. I'll eat the shipping to get it out to you guys if anybody's interested in buying a Two Lines T-shirt. The design, I think, is super cool. They basically took my helmet out of my logo and dropped it on like a 40s pinup girl on top of the my Miss Levi's build. And I told him, I said, it'd be cool. My favorite car is my Elva and my M6A. I said it'd be cool to redo that with that car. But I think we're going to stick with the CUDA, and just because I think they did such a great job with it. If you guys have not seen the T-shirt design, I posted it on my Instagram account. I probably could post it here too. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick. And so what I'll do is I'll put a form out there in the description of the live stream video when the form is up. And so what I'll do is I'm going to do pre-orders so that I don't over-order T-shirts. So if I need to only order 10 shirts, then that's awesome. But if I get 100 shirts, it would be good to know that if I need to order that many. So we'll do a pre-order form. Just fill out the form, name, address, the shirt size that you want, and then submit it to me so then I can take a pre-order of what shirts I need to order. And then what we'll do is you can just pay me through Venmo. But it's probably going to end up being $25. That'll take care of shipping and the shirt. And if you're interested. Now, listen, I'm not a hard sale guy. This is not about me selling shirts. I know Raul does an awesome job with shirts for the Slot Vengers folks. But my buddies, they really wanted to do something nice for me, and they put this design together. So I thought it would be cool to make a run of these shirts. So if you're in, I'll put the form out there. Go out to Instagram. You can see a picture of the shirt. I think what we settled on is this black graphite shirt. So it's like a really dark heather gray, silvery colored shirt with a red and white image of Two Lines slot cars. So I think they look pretty good. I think you guys will like the shirts. The fingers, yes, American Muscle. So yeah, if that's something you'd be interested in, it'd be fun. Again, it's not about me trying to sell stuff. That's the last thing I want to do. But it might be kind of cool to have guys out there wearing Two Line slot car shirts. So I'll put the link out there. It'll probably be there tomorrow. I just want to make sure that the pricing covers everything that it needs to cover. They're getting pricing on the T-shirts because I was particular about what type of T-shirt that I wanted it to be on, and then I can get the sizes that I needed. So, yeah, Chris, I think I'll be able to go extra small all the way to 3X. I had a couple requests for 4X, and so they're looking to see if they can actually get that that in a 4X, that same color shirt. It might just be a flat black shirt, but so that's what I'm trying to decide. If somebody needs a shirt, I want them all to look the same. So it's probably going to be extra small through 3 to 4X. I'll know that tomorrow, and I'll post that online. So I'll post it in the description of this video after it's done, and then you guys can go out there and order, and then we'll just go from there. But guys, this has been fun. Well, here's the thing with the Google form that I'm using. Will put it all in a spreadsheet for me, so then I can just hand that to the guys to order. And so yeah, I appreciate you throwing the size out there, and we'll get it. I got you, John. I got you down on the list. So just 2 lines only. Sad face. Well, what am I missing, George? George, did you see the design? So yeah, Chad and Jared, they designed a 2 line shirt. They're like, your channel needs shirts, and I was explaining to them that my channel does have shirts. That Raul does some shirts with the logos based on what people want, but they were adamant about doing something for me. So, yeah, that's cool, man. Appreciate that. But yeah, I'll put all the information out there in that form. Anthony, I'll see what I can do, man. I will have a box that for special comments. So if there's anything special that you guys need, you can put it in there. And I'll see what I can do. So if you want one, I would love for you to get one. It would be fun to have a bunch of people out there. George, I can have them design you a shirt. I just don't want to step on Raul's toes, man. So yeah, no thanks. So we'll wrap up, guys. This has been fun. I so look forward to Tuesday nights. It got a little crazy there towards the end of the summer, and Tuesday nights was my sanity, just because I knew that I was going to be able to hang out with a bunch of good dudes. And now we've got some ladies jumping in the conversation, and that is fantastic. So, yeah, let me see. I can go ahead and post this. I'll put it in the chat. Hold on. Give me just 1 second, guys, before I actually close out, because I have the form ready. Again, if you don't see your size, mark the closest size and then put something in the special, and I'll let you know whether we can accommodate that or not. And then once I find out in the morning, I'll fix the form and make sure that it's good to go. Looking for the link. Hold on. Sorry. I'm searching. And copy. Somebody click on that form and let me know if it works. And then we'll wrap things up. So if somebody clicks on that link, see if it goes to the 2 Lines T-shirt order form. Thanks, Thomas. And I think I have a picture in the form of what the T-shirt actually looks like, now that I think about it. Yes, I do. Does it work? Thanks, George. All right, guys, this has been great. Thanks for joining. And, yeah, the fingers, it works. Form works. Eric Tucker. Thanks. Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And you know what? This has been awesome. I really appreciate you guys. And I'll be giving away some coffee to somebody soon. So look for your email. Guys, go have some fun racing.